So, you want to know about the Headhunters, don't you? Artificial intelligences have data networks for this sort of stuff, so that you don't have to do your own research?
Some, not me. I'm designed to operate like a person, only with the ability to interface with technology and to learn information far faster than humans can.
Interesting. Well, time for your history lesson. Picture Virgil's system in the 216s, this massive colonial hub where Project Far Star had poured billions in government funding. Then, the corporations moved in and suddenly, legions of skilled pilots were left without work. Why hire an independent contractor for a large fee when you can pay less for a corporate fleet and feel safer?
So you weren't hardened criminals to begin with. You were victims of corporate consolidation?
Exactly. We pulled a network of these contractors together, specifically targeted the corporations that had pushed us out. But we did it with this, well, almost professional approach. We rarely use violence when intimidation would work. It's the same way now in Pyro. There is no profit in meaningless death.
Sounds like you brought your professional ethics with you into your new line of work.
It took time before we truly became a force to be reckoned with. We quickly realized that as much fun as it was punching back at the corporations who had robbed us of our work, there was more money to be made elsewhere. We ended up creating these incredibly complex smuggling routes through Nyx and Pyro that were faster than any legitimate shipping lanes. And we built this network of mules from other disenfranchised groups. That's actually where the name Headhunters came from.
Oh, right, because they were constantly recruiting. But how did they maintain control over such a large operation?
Well, by the 2620s, we had established this fascinating corporate-style structure. We had a single chief at the top, regional judges who operated with significant autonomy, and even a 4-person advisory council. Our goal was something like a shadow corporation.
That's quite sophisticated for a criminal organization. Did this structure help you survive all your conflicts?
It definitely played a huge role, especially during our 170-year war with the Drop Kings. But what really set us apart was our reputation for reliability. We never betray allies, always keep our word. We created a brand of criminal professionalism.
That's exactly what makes you so unique. You're honest about who you are, what you do. Eli finds it very admirable.
Does he? Has he heard how his old buddy, Kima, is doing? She's our chief now. We call her Bats. Under her leadership, we're evolving again. She's helped us become more calculated, more vicious when needed. But she still maintains that core principle of reliability. Instead of playing the stupid Game of Thrones all the corpos are doing in Stanton, we are closer to the city-states of the ancient world. But we'll cover those neighbors later.
Well, that actually involves my next question. Do you think the Headhunters will survive the xenothreat situation? That seems to be a different sort of threat compared to what you are used to.
You know, we've survived corporate takeovers, rival gangs, and nearly 2 centuries of warfare. You're right, xenothreat isn't just another competitor, but not because of any significant strength gap they have over older threats. The biggest area of concern is that they're drawing the kind of attention that could bring UEE intervention to Pyro.
So the real threat isn't just xenothreat, it's the possibility of losing your safe haven entirely.
Exactly. And that's what makes our current situation so precarious. We're not just fighting for territory anymore. We're fighting for our way of life. But if there's one thing the Headhunters have proven over 3 centuries, it's that we know how to adapt and survive.
What about the other factions in Pyro?
Just a general outlook on them? Let's start with the Citizens for Prosperity. They're just another corporation looking to profit in a way that they deem moral.
Len had the same idea. He says that they're a propaganda machine, no better than the gangs that already occupy Pyro.
That's what makes them especially dangerous. If there's anything I've learned in my time with the Headhunters, it's that there is no greater threat than a warlord who can mask as a hero rather than a conqueror.
Do you think that's their goal? To conquer?
There cannot be another goal. Why care about Pyro at all if you don't have a bottom-line quota to meet? They want to mine Richite and Steeleron to turn their profit. Of course, I don't doubt that their humanitarian supply running will also become a major source of profit for them if they ever secure a stranglehold on the system.
Of course, they can't run food on a loss forever. I suspect that their pricing will turn predatory within the next decade or so.
I complain about them, but I am grateful for their presence to an extent. If they and the frontier fighters hadn't turned up to force Xeno threat out of Stanton, we could have been facing a full-scale UE invasion already.
Ah, the frontier fighters. How do you feel about them?
I felt the same way about them. They pushed into Pyro, claiming to be hunting the Slicers, yet attacked us large-scale the second they stepped into the system. Now, though, we know what their intent was. They masqueraded as the Slicers in Stanton to prompt the need for a reaction. And so, the frontier fighters managed to secure everyone's blessing to invade Pyro. They got found out, though. Honestly, I admire the foresight on their part.
It clearly worked. They've secured a foothold in Pyro now.
Well, it won't last. Like I said before, the Headhunters aren't worried about conflict with gangs and want to be do-gooders like the CFP. As long as the UEE doesn't stick its nose in, Pyro will settle back down to a state that benefits us more than anyone else.
Well, this time has been informative. I'll make sure to inform my pilot on everything you've talked about here. I'm sure our future contracts with you will be profitable for us both.
I have no doubts. Corsair has been a wonderful asset in the past 2 months. I'll be sending him another job now, in fact.
Have a wonderful evening, Synapse.